It began, as most of La Cruz disasters do, with Señor Whiskers leaping dramatically onto the breakfast table, a small saliva-slicked SD card clutched between his fangs like a damning prophecy. He dropped it beside Milo's cereal with the elegance of a snitching butler, then leapt to the chandelier, where he watched, unblinking. Milo adjusted his glasses. Either the cat's blackmailing us, or he just solved a crime. Brandon peered over his shoulder. Is it more workout videos? Because last time it was just me and the blender. Shirtless. Inspirational. Jessica appeared with her usual impeccable timing, muttering, I just dust the corners, but that cat has better surveillance than the CIA. Milo plugged the card into his laptop. Static. Then footage. Grayscale. Low angle. From Señor Whiskers' collar cam. The camera panned up. A garden. Candles. Night. And then, Chloe. Kissing Lorenzo. Not just a kiss. A full, dramatic, slow-motion, score-swelling kiss. Like the ending of a French film about betrayal and very expensive scars. Brandon gasped. That's Lorenzo. That's Mom's. Wait. Isn't he possibly your weight? What? Jessica dropped a ladle. Milo whispered, Greek mythology warned us about this. Chloe strolled in moments later with paint on her wrists and absolute calm in her bones. She watched the video, blinked once and said, It was for an art film. Working title, Daddy Maybe? From upstairs, a howl. Veronica. She'd been scrolling her phone when the footage autoplayed on Brandon's accidental Instagram live. The caption? OMG Chloe! She stormed into the kitchen wrapped in silk and soap opera wrath. Veronica de La Cruz demands an explanation. Chloe yawned. He said I looked like someone he'd lost. I was curious. Veronica collapsed onto a bar stool, clutching her own face. You kissed my ex, my one true love. And he let you? He let you kiss him with that cursed, artistic mouth? Chloe shrugged. He was the only one telling me the truth. And kissing well. From behind the fridge, a cough. Lucretia emerged, holding a half-burned napkin and a Zippo. I'll destroy the footage. For the family. Some things should stay buried. Milo protested. It's digital. You can't just burn JPGs. Too late. Lucretia hurled the laptop into the fireplace with startling aim. Flames rose. Brandon shrieked. That was my Spotify login. Señor Whiskers hissed, leapt down, and slapped Lucretia's slipper before darting away, straight past Chloe. He didn't even glance at her. Did the cat just judge me? Chloe muttered. In the chaos, Brandon quietly removed the SD card, inserted it into his phone, and spotted another video. He watched just 5 seconds. His face paled. Then flushed. Then sweat sparkled on his abs. Without a word, he deleted it. Gone. Jessica saw. What was it? Brandon shook his head. It's better you don't know. Trust me. Some packs aren't ready for public view. That night, as smoke curled around burned posters of Veronica de La Cruz in Temptation on Tuesday, the matriarch drank from a wine glass the size of regret. Then, her phone buzzed. A message. From Lorenzo. We need to talk. I think one of your kids might be mine. She dropped the phone into her soup. Silence fell. Even Señor Whiskers stopped walking. And for once, the family didn't scream. They just sat. Because this wasn't drama. This was their life. The next morning, no one spoke at breakfast. The usual chorus of clinking spoons and passive-aggressive toast slams was replaced with a suffocating, theatrical silence. Señor Whiskers sat at the head of the table like a disappointed producer. Veronica hadn't touched her grapefruit. Chloe painted a fanged swan on her napkin. Brandon was watching the microwave like it might reveal a prophecy. Then Milo, ever the narrator, finally said it.
So, is anyone going to talk about the fact that Chloe might have tongue-kissed her own father?
Chloe didn't flinch.
Technically, he never took a paternity test.
Veronica let out a gasp so sharp it could have sliced cheese.
That is not how science or decency works.
Jessica, folding towels in the doorway, muttered.
I clean up everything in this house, but I draw the line at incest adjacent.
Lucretia, sipping her herbal sludge, narrowed her eyes.
The footage is gone. The man is in Italy. The cat is the only one who knows what actually happened.
Everyone turned to Señor Whiskers. He licked his paw, then turned away from Chloe. Again. Chloe raised an eyebrow.
Okay, so the cat ghosts me now?
Brandon stood up, knocking over a chair.
Wait. If Lorenzo might be Chloe's dad, and I kissed Chloe's shoulder once in the hot tub that one summer, does that mean I?
No, said everyone at once. Jessica added.
But it does mean you're still a himbo with boundary issues.
Just then, Milo's laptop pinged. Somehow, from the ashes of the burned laptop and deleted files, a cloud backup had resurrected a fragment of the second video. He clicked. Static. Then, a flash of Brandon. Shirtless, yes. But that wasn't the problem. Behind him, Henry, talking to another teenager, with Lorenzo's cheekbones. Jessica leaned in.
That's Oliver.
Brandon nearly choked on his protein bar.
The kid from the laundry room?
Lucretia stood slowly.
If Lorenzo has one child in this house, there might be two.
Veronica grabbed her pearls.
Veronica de la Cruz is not Noah's Ark. I will not house a parade of unknown spawn.
Señor Whiskers leapt down, slinking toward the staircase, tail twitching. Chloe followed him without a word. He led her to the east wing, the sealed guest room. She opened the door. Inside, candles, photographs, a wall of drawings, all of Chloe, but signed, ADL, Allegra de Luca.
She's here,
Chloe whispered. From downstairs, Veronica screamed again. Another message had come in. This time, a photo. Lorenzo, standing in front of a villa, with a girl who looked exactly like Chloe.
The caption? Meet Allegra's daughter. My other Claudia.
Time slowed. Chloe stared at the photo, fingers twitching, eyes dead calm in that terrifying way only she could pull off, like a volcano taking a breath. Veronica screamed into a couch cushion.
Veronica de la Cruz will not share her tragedies with a doppelganger. I already compete with my past, my pores, and that cursed woman's Instagram. I draw the line at biological copy-paste.
Milo blinked.
So there are two Claudias?
Jessica nodded grimly.
And only one fork.
Chloe paced.
If that's true, then I'm not the only daughter Allegra had. I'm not the only one Lorenzo kissed goodnight and told half-truths about Tuscany and legacy.
Brandon stared at the photo again, whispering,
She looks like you, but softer. Like less knives, more spoons.
Veronica stood suddenly.
No. This is a scam. That girl is a decoy. A body double. A marketing stunt by Lorenzo to keep me unstable.
Lucretia stirred her poison tea.
I always said Lorenzo would spawn like an art school octopus.
Chloe turned to her.
You knew about her?
Lucretia didn't blink.
I suspected everything. I've just stopped saying it out loud because no one listens until it's on fire or bleeding.
Milo refreshed the message. There was more. A voice note. Lorenzo's voice, smooth as velvet, broken at the edges.
Veronica, one Claudia was lost to you. The other never found you. One was yours by name, the other by blood. But neither is truly mine. They're both hers.
Chloe's eyes narrowed.
Hers?
Veronica's hand trembled.
He means Allegra, that opera witch. She couldn't sing, but she could seduce a mirror.
Just then, Señor Whiskers darted into the room, leapt onto Chloe's shoulder, and hissed, not at her, but toward the hallway. Someone was coming. Footsteps. A knock. 3 short. 1 long. Veronica gasped.
That's the Allegra knock. She used to do that before entering Lorenzo's trailer.
Brandon grabbed a spoon.
Weapon mode.
The door creaked open. Standing there, a girl. Mid-20s. Tall. Pale. Same black curls. Same stormy eyes. Wearing a vintage de la Cruz scarf. Chloe's scarf. She smiled slowly.
Hi. I'm Claudia. 2.
Chloe stared. Veronica fainted behind a potted plant. Lucretia took a long sip of tea and whispered.
And just like that, we've hit biblical.
Chloe didn't move. Neither did the other Claudia. It was like watching a mirror glitch. 2 identical storms frozen in a hallway, both waiting for the other to blink first. Señor Whiskers, tail puffed, jumped down and slinked away like even he refused to pick sides. The rest of the family gathered in slow-motion horror. Brandon hovered protectively behind Chloe, holding a spatula like a sacred blade. Milo pulled out his phone, whispering,
This is either a miracle or a symptom.
Veronica came to with a gasp and immediately moaned.
Veronica de la Cruz will not be overshadowed by a European reboot of her trauma.
Other Claudia raised an eyebrow.
Oh, I've heard of you. Lorenzo called you the preview before the film got good.
Veronica lunged, but Brandon held her back with one arm.
Nope. We're not brawling in silk today.
Chloe, arms crossed, finally spoke.
What do you want?
Other Claudia stepped into the house, like she'd done it before.
Answers. Family. My scarf back. In that order.
Jessica appeared from nowhere, as usual.
We barely manage 1 Claudia here. 2? The tiles will crack.
Lucretia entered last, holding a photo. A very old one.
Found this in Lorenzo's letters. 2 babies. Labeled Claudia A and Claudia B.
Milo leaned in.
Wait. Twins.
Lucretia shrugged.
Or decoys. Lorenzo always had flair for confusion. Once sent 3 different women the same birthday card. It worked until they met.
Chloe narrowed her eyes.
We need proof. Other Claudia held up a flash drive.
DNA, birth records, and a copy of the will.
Brandon raised a hand.
Wait. There's a will?
Other Claudia smiled sweetly.
Oh, sweetheart. There are 2.
Veronica shrieked.
Of course there are. Lorenzo always loved second acts.
Jessica took the flash drive, plugged it into Milo's laptop, and everyone crowded around like it was a campfire of pure dysfunction. The will loaded.
To my daughters, both named Claudia, because destiny is messy, and I never was good with paperwork.
Brandon blinked.
That's the most Lorenzo sentence I've ever heard.
The rest unfolded like a soap opera wrapped in bureaucracy. Claudia A gets the Italian villa. Claudia B gets the film rights to Lorenzo's life. Both must live under one roof for 30 days before either claim is activated. The clock starts now. Chloe looked at her double.
Which one are you?
Other Claudia smirked.
That's the fun part.
From the shadows, Señor Whiskers meowed once, low and haunting. Lucretia sipped her tea.
Well, she said, we'd better restock the poison.
By sunset, the de la Cruz estate had transformed from its usual operatic chaos into something colder, calculated. 2 Claudias now lived under one roof, and the walls felt it. Paintings tilted. Lights flickered. The kettle whistled without being turned on. Veronica refused to leave her bedroom, declaring on live stream,
Veronica de la Cruz mourns the death of narrative clarity, and possibly her wardrobe.
Downstairs, Chloe watched other Claudia unpack a single suitcase. Neatly. No black lace, no oil paints. Just linen dresses and vintage books.
You're not an artist,
Chloe said. Other Claudia looked up.
No, but I know how to finish a story.
Brandon, observing from the couch with popcorn and protein powder, whispered to Milo,
I think I have a type. It's both of them.
Milo didn't blink.
You need therapy. And possibly a priest.
Lucretia had moved into the observatory, which she hadn't used since 1997, when she predicted the divorce rate based on moon cycles. Now she scribbled notes and sipped from a mug labeled,
One Claudia too many.
Señor Whiskers, who hadn't purred in days, watched both Claudias with narrowed eyes. He lingered in doorways. Filmed selectively. Ate only when Jessica was in the room. When Chloe tried to pet him, he vanished into the attic.
That cat,
Chloe muttered,
used to sleep on my face.
That evening, dinner was unbearable. Other Claudia served pasta. Chloe ordered takeout. They stared at each other over candlelight like two eras refusing to sync. Veronica entered halfway through the meal, cloaked in tulle and tragedy.
I've decided I will only refer to you as Beta Claudia.
Other Claudia blinked.
That's funny. Lorenzo used to call you Act 1.
Veronica shattered a wine glass in her hand and bled with grace. Brandon stood to clap, but sat when everyone stared. Later that night, Chloe wandered into the East Wing, Allegra's shrine room. She hadn't entered since the day she found the wall of drawings. But now, the room was different. Everything had been moved, cleaned, organized. Other Claudia stood at the center, folding the last scarf.
I thought I should tidy up. She wouldn't want you to live in grief.
Chloe's voice was ice.
She wouldn't want you here.
Other Claudia turned.
I think she wanted both of us. She just didn't believe it was possible.
There was a beat. A silence louder than any scream. Then, a soft ding from Milo's laptop. He opened the new message. An anonymous link. Surveillance footage. Timestamp, 4 nights ago. Location, guest bathroom. Chloe, kissing Lorenzo. Again. And saying,
Don't tell anyone. Especially her.
Everyone froze. Veronica fell against the banister. Other Claudia's eyes narrowed. Chloe just exhaled.
Well, I did say he kissed well.
And Señor Whiskers, from the attic, finally hissed. The next morning began with silence, not peace. That brutal kind of silence that means something's already broken and everyone's pretending it isn't. Other Claudia didn't show up for breakfast. She wasn't in her room, the garden, or the shrine. Her scarf was gone. So was the flash drive. So was the cat. Veronica paced the kitchen barefoot, muttering like a cursed actress between takes.
First the fork, now the flash drive. What's next? My sanity? Oh wait, too late.
Jessica, stirring oatmeal with unnecessary force, said flatly,
If I find another girl in this house claiming an Italian will and perfect eyebrows, I'm moving to the guest house. With the blender.
Brandon, upside down on the floor doing morning crunches, blinked.
Wait, she just left?
Milo refreshed the security cam feed.
She left at 3:17 a.m. alone. Señor Whiskers followed. That's not a good sign.
Lucretia entered in black gloves and a surgical mask.
It's always a good sign when a rival leaves before sunrise. That's what we used to call natural selection.
Chloe was quiet. Too quiet. She sat on the windowsill, still wearing last night's boots, a cup of cold tea in her hand, and ash under her fingernails. She wasn't supposed to leave, she finally said.
She was supposed to stay. Hate me. Paint something. Ruin something.
Veronica, spoon midair, stared at her.
Are you sad?
Chloe's laugh was dry.
She looked like me, Mom. But she was good. Kind of. Balanced. I thought I could corrupt her. Turns out, she just left instead.
Milo looked up from his screen.
Or maybe she left because of the footage. Or maybe because of you.
Brandon chimed in.
Or maybe she and the cat are planning something. Like a buddy spy movie. But sadder.
That's when the doorbell rang. A courier. Envelope. No return address. Inside, a photo. Other Claudia. Standing in front of a new door. Painted bright red. Key in hand. Señor Whiskers on her shoulder. And one handwritten sentence beneath.
The house was never haunted. It was just awake.
Jessica crossed herself. Veronica grabbed the wine before noon. Milo whispered,
she found the third house.
Chloe stood, her shadow long and sharp.
She found the end.
Lucretia smiled to herself.
No, Nina. She found the beginning.
By dusk, everyone was pretending to do something while very clearly doing nothing. Brandon reorganized his protein jars alphabetically, twice. Veronica lit candles in alphabetical order of their scent names.
Ambrosia, through, Elong,
and declared it.
Grief staging.
Milo paced with a book he wasn't reading. Jessica vacuumed air. And Chloe? Chloe stood at the cracked mirror in the East Hall, the one that never reflected quite right. Her eyes were swollen, but not from crying, from trying not to. Behind her, Lucretia entered like a priestess who skipped church for blackmail brunches.
She left because she knew you'd break her. That's not evil, Querida. That's instinct.
Chloe didn't turn.
I didn't mean to kiss him again.
Lucretia snorted.
You don't accidentally kiss your maybe father. You choose the chaos, you know.
Downstairs, Milo burst in with his laptop.
She sent another message.
They all gathered in the salon, beneath the chandelier that once fell on an ex-boyfriend during a rehearsal of Death of a Salesman. Milo played the voice note. Other Claudia's voice steady.
This house breathes lies. I thought I could heal something by entering it. Instead, it made me a reflection I don't recognize. Tell Chloe she wins. I'm not coming back.
Chloe stood motionless. Veronica, mascara already melting, muttered.
You don't get to leave the De La Cruz narrative. It's not a hotel. It's a curse.
Just then, a loud thump at the door. Jessica opened it. A package. Wrapped in velvet. No return name. Inside, the scarf Chloe had taken from the shrine. And a new item. A burned DVD. Labeled in shaky handwriting.
What the cat saw. Final cut.
Brandon whispered.
Like the Cat's Director's Edition?
They watched in silence. Footage. No audio. Chloe. Veronica. Allegra. Lorenzo. Lucretia. Every betrayal. Every secret. Every kiss. Every lie. In grainy, night vision detail. And then, a final clip. Different. Recent. Other Claudia boarding a train. Señor Whiskers on her lap. She looked directly into the lens. And smiled. Then blackout. Text on screen.
One Claudia left. One remains. And the house is still watching.
Silence. Then Lucretia, softly.
Well, guess the cat's writing season 3.
That night, no one slept. Not really. Chloe sat on the floor of her room, surrounded by unfinished canvases, paint smeared like confessions across her arms. The DVD menu played on loop in the background, flickering.
Play, scenes,
secrets. Over and over again. Señor Whiskers was gone, and the absence clung to the walls like mildew. Brandon tried to cook eggs. He set off the fire alarm. Twice. Veronica stood in the hallway in her old stage costume from Blood Vows and whispered lines to herself. 2 daughters. 1 mirror. No exit. Milo made tea. Then coffee. Then a tea-coffee hybrid he named Despercino. Lucretia sat on the roof with binoculars and a walkie-talkie. No one gave her one back, but she still reported into it every 30 minutes. Then, just past 3 a.m., the house groaned. Doors creaked open on their own. A wind passed through, though all windows were shut. Jessica woke instantly. She knew that sound. So did Chloe. She wandered to the west hallway. The mirror. Cracked. This time, it wasn't her reflection. It was other Claudia. Not real, but there. Like a residue. A goodbye that refused to fade. Chloe whispered, "Why do you still haunt me?" The reflection didn't move. But behind her, Señor Whiskers walked slowly into view, stopped, and stared directly into the mirror. He blinked, and the image disappeared. The next morning, the house felt different. As if it had taken a deep breath after holding it for too long. Jessica found a note on the kitchen counter. It wasn't signed, but the handwriting was familiar. "She's not coming back. Not yet. But she's watching. Through the cat. Through the cracks. Through the guilt. And if I fall too far, promise me you'll burn the house." Chloe read it 3 times. Then took a paintbrush. And for the first time in weeks, painted something new. It was a house. Burning. And in the flames 2 shadows. Standing side by side. One holding a key. The other, a cat. A week passed. The drama didn't vanish. It shifted. Condensed. Became quieter, sharper, like a knife you forget is in your back until you sneeze. Veronica hosted a Reclaiming the Narrative brunch in the garden, complete with rosewater mimosas and a solo performance of Wounded Mother, Willing Star. Only Brendan clapped. He claps at everything. Chloe stopped painting in black. She'd moved to deep green, which everyone agreed was more unsettling. Lucretia took up gardening, which mostly meant digging holes and refusing to explain why. Milo received another encrypted message. Just a name. Oliver. No context. No signature. Just that. He showed Chloe. She didn't react. She just turned the name over in her mouth like a bitter herb. "Henry's hidden son," she said at last. "Lorenzo's maybe not son. Mine, not yet defined." That night, Chloe wandered into the old conservatory. The room hadn't been used since Veronica tried to grow orchids and accidentally summoned bees. But the air felt thick again. Familiar. On the floor, a VHS tape. No label. Just a sticky note. "This one stays off the internet." She played it. Footage. Worn. Fuzzy. Veronica. Younger. Crying. Holding a baby. Not Chloe. Not Claudia. Someone else. A boy. In the background, Lorenzo's voice. "He doesn't know. Henry must never know. Call him Oliver. Hide the birthmark." Chloe paused the tape. She didn't blink. She didn't breathe. From the hallway, a shadow passed the door. A boy in a hoodie. Silent. Watching. Gone. She turned. Nothing. But on the piano, a plate. Half-eaten flan. And a silver fork. Not hers. She picked it up. Still warm. Somewhere far away, Señor Whiskers purred. The next morning, no one admitted to seeing the fork, or the plate, or the boy. Veronica, fully dressed by 6 a.m. in a feathered robe
and matching denial, proclaimed,
"There is no boy. Veronica de la Cruz has no secrets in hoodie form."
Brandon squinted.
"I mean, I did see someone in the hallway, but it could have been my reflection. Sometimes I spook myself."
Jessica folded a napkin with surgical precision.
"Someone's been opening the third-floor fridge. That one's only for dramatic leftovers and emotional cheeses."
Lucretia flipped a page in her notebook.
"Check the attic. If it's Oliver, he's watching. If it's not, we're dealing with a ghost who snacks."
Chloe didn't say anything. But in her pocket, the silver fork. Polished. Inscribed. Just one word.
"Choose."
That evening, they searched the house. No Oliver. No hoodie. But in the guest room, dust. Footprints. Small. And on the wall, drawn in charcoal. A mirror. Cracked. 2 Claudias. One blurred. And behind them, a cat. Chloe stared at it.
"It's his drawing."
Milo tilted his head.
"But he doesn't talk."
Jessica whispered.
"That doesn't mean he's not screaming."
The lights flickered. Downstairs, the VHS tape played on its own. The same footage. Only this time, extended. Veronica sobbing. Lorenzo's voice. Then another figure. Lucretia.
"You can't keep hiding him,"
she said on the tape.
"Secrets rot. He's too smart. Too silent."
Then static. Then black. Brandon looked around.
"Okay, but is anyone gonna ask why we keep letting the house decide what to show us?"
Veronica downed her wine.
"Because therapy is expensive, and the house has good instincts."
That night, as rain tapped the windows like polite regret, Chloe sat alone in the conservatory. She placed the fork on the piano and whispered,
"If you're here, I choose to know."
No answer. But in the hallway mirror, just for a moment, her reflection blinked. And didn't. By dawn, the house had a pulse. The doors breathed. The chandeliers swayed without reason. Señor Whiskers returned, soaked from the storm, and placed something at Chloe's feet. A crumpled photo. Water damaged, but intact. It was the attic wall, with 3 Claudias drawn now. And in the corner, Oliver. Watching. Veronica declared she was going on a grief sabbatical, and retreated into her walk-in closet with only satin, red wine, and a Bluetooth speaker that played thunderstorm sounds labeled
"Emotional ambience."
Brandon refused to enter the attic unless armed with his yoga mat and a flashlight.
"It's haunted up there. Or emotionally congested."
Jessica, however, went straight up. What she found: a blanket. Folded. A teacup. Empty. A book with dog-eared pages. Philosophy, underlined in green. And a single sticky note taped to the mirror.
"Not hiding. Waiting."
Lucretia, reading the note, nodded like it confirmed a long-held suspicion.
"He's been here longer than any of you. Listening. Cataloging. He's his father's son."
Everyone turned to Chloe. But she didn't look at them. She was staring out the window, where a figure, distant, still, stood at the edge of the property. A boy. In a hoodie. Watching. She went to the front door. Opened it. Wind howled. Leaves flew. The house groaned again. But the boy was gone. In his place, a book. Left open on the front steps. A single sentence underlined.
"Some inherit houses. Others inherit the silence inside them."
She picked it up. Inside, a silver key. And a note.
"Find the room that remembers."
She closed the door behind her. And said softly,
"I think he just invited me in."
The house went quiet, not empty, but expectant. Chloe moved through it like someone sleepwalking toward a scream she half remembered. Every creak of the floorboards felt intentional, every draft like breath against her ear. The silver key pulsed in her palm with the weight of an answer she hadn't asked for, not out loud, anyway. Downstairs, Milo tracked her like a background character who suddenly realized he was in the main plot.
"You're not going alone, are you?" "I'm not,"
Chloe said, pausing at the west staircase.
"I'm going with every version of me that broke along the way."
"Cool," Milo replied.
"But maybe also take a flashlight?"
Brandon offered her a protein bar.
"For courage."
And Jessica crossed herself in 3 different religions. Veronica, from inside her closet, shouted,
"If you die, make it artful."
The key fit into a door no one remembered, one behind a shelf of dusty headshots from Veronica's almost famous era. It clicked. The room smelled like metal and violets. Inside, boxes. A mattress on the floor. Dozens of labeled cassettes. Old journals. Maps. And in the center, a single chair, facing a wall. Chloe walked in. Saturday. The light flickered. A projector turned on by itself. Home video. Shaky. Static. Veronica holding a baby. Lucretia pacing. Henry. And Lorenzo. Fighting. Then silence. Then the camera turned. To him. A boy. Big eyes. Silent. Watching. The tape zoomed in. Veronica's voice.
"Don't film him. Don't name him. If you don't name him, he doesn't exist."
But the boy looked right at the lens. At Chloe. Across time. And whispered,
"You already chose."
The screen cut to black. And on the wall behind the projector, words scratched deep into the paint. Oliver. Lorenzo. Henry. None of them are who you think. But you are? Chloe didn't scream. She smiled. And said,
"Finally."
The house exhaled. Somewhere, a light bulb popped. Somewhere else, Señor Whiskers let out a long, guttural growl and curled beneath the piano, as if even he knew what had just happened. Chloe stepped out of the hidden room with soot on her fingers and clarity in her veins. The air smelled of ozone, wet wood, and something else, old decisions waking up. Downstairs, the family waited, as always, in partial denial and full dysfunction. Milo stood first.
"Well?"
Chloe held up the scratched key, then pointed toward her own chest.
"This was never about a room."
Jessica set down a tray of tea.
"Then what was behind the door?"
Chloe looked her in the eye.
"The truth. It doesn't whisper. It sits. Patient. Like a child no one claimed."
Lucretia blinked, a full, slow blink.
"So, he is real?"
Chloe nodded.
"And he's still here. Not hiding. Not haunting. Waiting. For what's his?"
Veronica emerged from her closet with mascara streaks like battle paint.
Wait! I missed an entire subplot. Who's Oliver again? Am I his mother?"
"No," Chloe said too gently.
"But you could have been,"
Milo muttered. Brandon blinked.
"Wait, so if Oliver's not Chloe's brother, and not my brother, and not Veronica's kid, then who does he belong to?"
Silence. Then a voice from the hallway. Low. Calm. Familiar. "Me." They all turned. Henry. Standing at the foot of the stairs. Holding a folded envelope. Thick. Heavy. Chloe's voice dropped.
"You knew."
Henry nodded.
"He's not just mine. He's theirs."
Veronica gasped.
"Who's theirs? Don't make it plural."
Henry opened the envelope. Inside, one photo. 3 signatures. Veronica, Lucretia, and Allegra. Milo squinted.
"What is this?"
Henry looked straight at Chloe.
"A pact?"
Everyone froze. Even the wind paused. Then, without turning around, Chloe said,
He's already in the house, isn't he?
From the far end of the corridor, the mirror shimmered. A boy. In a hoodie. This time, he stepped forward. Out of the glass. Into the hall. Oliver. Real. Silent. Home. And Señor Whiskers meowed, a long, low, echoing sound that made the chandelier sway. The final line scratched into the floor near his feet read,
Not the beginning. Not the end. Just the air.